Before we begin today, I'd like to provide you some background on the independent panel. The independent panel was initiated by the WHO Director General in July 2020 in response to the World Health Assembly Resolution 73.1 made in May 2020. He appointed the co-chairs, who in turn appointed 11 panel members representing diverse and deep knowledge and experience. The panel began its impartial, independent, and comprehensive review in September 2020. Over the last 8 months, the panel has very carefully examined past lessons from previous health threats, the spread of COVID-19 and the actions taken in response, and the impact on health and health systems, and on the wider socioeconomic impact. And now, as they will be presenting today, they've also had a careful look into the future and ways in which the world can be protected from future pandemics. The report, companion evidence-based narrative, and background papers you've seen are the result of intensive research, desk reviews, original research, some 125 interviews, and expert roundtable discussions. Altogether, the panel has engaged directly with well over 600 people involved in pandemic preparedness and response. The work is the most authoritative account of what has happened and why. Today, the co-chairs will present the culmination of the work and the resulting findings and recommendations. I'd like now to welcome the co-chairs, Her Excellency Madame Helen Sirleaf, former President of Liberia and Nobel Prize Laureate, and the Right Honourable Helen Clark, former Prime Minister of New Zealand. Also with us today are panel members Joanne Liu and Mauricio Cardenas. There are members of the Secretariat in the room and members of the media support team here as well. The co-chairs will go through the findings and recommendations, and following this, the floor will be open for questions from media in attendance. To avoid distractions again, can I ask you to turn off your cameras while the co-chairs speak, and also please wait to use the raise hands function until after this presentation. With that, I'd like to invite Her Excellency Madame Helen Sirleaf to begin. Thank you.
Thank you. Greetings to my co-chair, the Right Honourable Helen Clark. Thank you to the journalists who have joined us today. Let me begin bluntly. The situation we find ourselves in today could have been prevented. An outbreak of a new pathogen, SARS-CoV-2, became a catastrophic pandemic that has now killed more than 3.25 million people and continues to threaten lives and livelihoods all over the world. It is due to a myriad of failures, gaps, and delays in preparedness and response. This was partly due to a failure to learn from the past. There are many reviews of previous health crises that include sensible recommendations. Yet, they sit closed and gathering dust in UN basements and on government shelves. Previous panels and many other experts have warned that a pandemic threat was imminent and countries should be ready. And yet, here we are. Our report shows that most countries of the world were simply not prepared for a pandemic. They had not stress-tested their systems or invested enough in supplies and human resources. Some of the countries initially deemed most prepared suffered the most devastating COVID-19 outbreaks. Next, valuable time was lost in January 2020. When we look back to that period in late December 2019, clinicians in Wuhan acted quickly when they recognized individuals in a cluster of pneumonia cases that were not normal. When laboratory samples indicated a potentially new virus, alerts were sent in Wuhan. These were picked up quickly by neighboring areas, countries, the media, on an online disease reporting site, and by the WHO. This showed the benefit and speed of open source reporting. But then, the systems that were meant to validate and respond to this alert were too slow. The alert system does not operate with sufficient speed when faced with a fast-moving respiratory pathogen. The international health regulations serve to constrain rather than facilitate rapid action. Let me now turn over to my co-chair, the Right Honorable Helen Clark. To you,
Thank you, President Sirleaf, and thank you to all from the media who've joined the two of us in this briefing. To carry on from where President Sirleaf just finished, our panel believes that the WHO was hindered and not helped by the international health regulations. The procedures under which the WHO and the Emergency Committee operate are not conducive to taking a precautionary approach, which we think would have been warranted. As well, we believe that even operating under the systems as they are, a public health emergency of international concern could have been declared by at least the 22nd January. Following the eventual declaration on the 30th of January, the panel sees February as a month of lost opportunity to avert a pandemic. As so many countries chose to wait and see rather than take firmer measures that could have contained the virus. For some, it wasn't until hospital ICU beds began to fill that more action was taken, and by then it was too late to avert the pandemic's impacts. What followed then was a winner-takes-all scramble for PPE and therapeutics globally. Health workers were tested to their limits, and the rates of infection, illness and death soared and continued to soar. We also note that there were countries which devalued and debunked science, denied the severity of the disease, delayed responding, and with the impact of sowing distrust among their citizens. This has had deadly consequences. This has been compounded by a lack of global leadership and coordination. With geopolitical tensions and nationalism weakening the multilateral system, which should act to keep the world safe. Overall, the pandemic is forecast to have a $22 trillion impact on the world economy by 2025. As the pandemic has raged, the most vulnerable people have suffered the most from the health and socioeconomic impacts, and 125 million more people are estimated to be being pushed back into extreme poverty. We note that women and girls have suffered disproportionately. Sexual and reproductive health services were disrupted in many places. The education of millions of girls has never been resumed. There has been an increase in early marriage and a sharp increase in reported cases of domestic violence around the world. The profound inequality in the vaccine rollout we also find striking. More than 1 billion doses of vaccine have been delivered worldwide, with 83% of those going to high and upper middle income countries and just 0.2% delivered in low income countries. President Sirleaf, I pass back over to you.
Thank you, Helen. We have found some reasons for hope in these bleak times. The world's health workers have responded with huge commitment to fighting the pandemic. Doctors, nurses, midwives, and community health workers have all taken great risks, and they continue to do so. Governments have as moral obligation to keep them safe now and in the future. The speed at which the virus genome was sequenced and vaccines were developed is unprecedented. Science delivered when the world needed it most, and the world benefited wherever there was open sharing of data and knowledge. There were also countries that responded well in the first 90 days of the pandemic. They are to be found across income levels and political systems. Those that heeded the lessons of the past and or prepared well were guided by evidence and engaged communities in the response through transparent communication tended to be more successful. Now, on to our calls and recommendations. They come in two parts. The first, a call to end the illness and deaths of this pandemic, and second, to implement a package aimed at ensuring that an infectious disease outbreak never again becomes a pandemic. First, on curbing the pandemic, which continues to accelerate. 93,000 people died in the last week of April due to COVID-19. In that same week, reported cases at being the highest levels yet. We must ask, why is this still happening when there are tried and tested tools to reduce transmission and illness and deaths from COVID-19? Some countries have purchased enough doses to vaccinate their population at least twice over. While manufacturing needs to be scaled up urgently, we strongly recommend that high-income countries with a vaccine pipeline for adequate coverage of their populations should, alongside their scale-up, commit to providing the 92 low- and middle-income countries covered by the COVAX Advanced Market Commitment at least 1 billion doses no later than 1st September, and to increase that to a total of 2 billion by mid-next year. We are encouraged by the United States support for a waiver of intellectual property protections for COVID-19 vaccines. Now let us take this further. We call for WHO and WTO to convene the major vaccine-producing countries and manufacturers to get agreement on voluntary licensing and technology transfer agreements, and to do so now. If actions do not occur within 3 months, a waiver of intellectual property rights under the Agreement on Trade-Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights should come into force immediately. We know that vaccines alone will not stop COVID-19. We call on countries to use all the tools available to them: testing, contact tracing, masking, and physical distancing, to name a few, to stop illness and deaths from the disease. Let's learn from those countries that have kept COVID-19 at bay. They do show what can be done. Prime Minister Clark, I now turn back to you.
Thank you, President Sirleaf. So now we come to the panel's recommendations on the steps which could be taken to help prevent a future pandemic. Another novel and highly infectious pathogen, of course, could emerge at any time. The international system as it stands, inclusive of national systems, is not fit to prevent an outbreak of such a pathogen from developing into a pandemic. There is a need for stronger leadership and better coordination at the national, regional, and international levels. The panel is recommending the creation of a global health threats council to be led by heads of state and government. Among its functions, it would maintain political commitment to pandemic preparedness between emergencies and to response during emergencies. And it would act to ensure cooperation and collective action across the international system. We do support the negotiation of a pandemic framework convention to address gaps in the international legal framework and to clarify responsibilities between states and international organizations. We propose that a special high-level session of the UN General Assembly should be convened later in the year to agree on a political declaration on transforming pandemic preparedness and response along the lines of the recommendations in the panel's report. The panel believes that WHO is underpowered and underfunded by its member states. And we propose what many have said before, that it needs real financial and political independence. The majority of its funds should come from unearmarked contributions, with member state fees covering 2/3 of its base program costs, and with an organised replenishment process raising the remainder of the budget. The Director General and the Regional Directors should in future serve a single term of 7 years. The disease surveillance and alert system needs to be overhauled too. WHO should have the powers necessary to investigate outbreaks of concern speedily, with guaranteed rights of access, and with the ability to publish information without waiting for member state approval. Sensitivities about sovereignty should surely not delay alerting the world to the threat of a new pathogen with pandemic potential. A precautionary principle should be applied where warranted, as in the case of respiratory infections. We are calling on WHO to set measurable targets and benchmarks for pandemic preparedness and response capacity. It should now formalise the use of universal, periodic peer reviews of national plans and capacities. And we also propose that the IMF should routinely include a pandemic preparedness assessment in its Article 4 consultation. Act A needs to be transformed into a truly global end-to-end platform for vaccines, diagnostics, therapeutics, and essential supplies, shifting away from a market-based model to one based on delivering global public goods. We are also proposing the creation of a dedicated international pandemic financing facility. It must be able to disburse $5 to $10 billion a year for preparedness and from $50 to $100 billion in the crisis. Ultimately, investing billions in preparedness now will save trillions in the future, as the current pandemic has so clearly illustrated. Ultimately, preparedness rests on national governments developing adequate systems and capacities. Their approach must be multi-sectoral, extending beyond health to social protection, and to resilience in education and other systems. There are examples of best practice during responses to this pandemic, which can be adapted to other national contexts. The panel is representing its recommendations as an integrated package of reform. We say that half measures won't do if the world is to avert another catastrophe like COVID-19. That's it from me, and back over to you, Christine. And can I note that apart from President Sirleaf and me, we also have other panelists, Joanne Liu and Mauricio Cadenas, and perhaps also Michelle Kazakskin with us for a little while to support us in the Q&A period.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister Clark, and thank you to President Sirleaf. We're now going to open for questions. I would like you please to use the raise hand function if you have a question. I'll do my best to call on you in the order in which you've raised your hand, but as you know on Zoom that can't always be entirely possible.